Good evening, race fans, and welcome here to Watkins Glen International with the boot here tonight for the Elite Sport Car Series 90 Minutes of the Glen. My name is Robert Hill Jr. Joining me, as always, is Chris Wright. Chris, how you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm excited to see this race play out. We've had two of them run. We've got two to go. It's been, pretty solid races. Daytona was a little crazy. It got a little tame in Sebring, but Watkins Glen, everybody's coming back. They know this racetrack. I think Hamilton's won both races. He's here tonight. Looks to be the fast guy, so we'll see if he can take the overall win once again.
Yeah, Hamilton has been the quickest car that we've had here. Actually, not necessarily the quickest. There's been a bit of competition with Chad Frankenfield as well as Archie Coveney and some others in the GTP class. GT3's been a little bit of a different story. Ryan Kircher has been up front every race so far, has a win. I believe it was Sean Ryan that picked up the other win last round out. Currently, we are underway with GT3 qualifying. Each group will get 7 minutes time out on the racetrack, and then there will be about a minute buffer between the GT3s and the GTP qualifying, and then the GTPs will get a minute of carryover at the end of their lap as well. Watching Don Hunter here, currently the first car out on the racetrack for those GT3s. We do expect him to be the first one to put a lap down in this session. And we'll see what he can do. Don Hunter did have a strong run out last round at Sebring, was also fairly quick at Daytona, ran into some issues with the braking, but has been able to gather it back up since that round. So we will see who puts a time down. Don Hunter, like I mentioned, first car out there. We see Tyler Fody, the 40 machine. Justin Wadsworth on the racetrack as well in car 24. Nice Apollo Motorsports machine. Ryan Kircher on the track as well. And I was incorrect, actually. First car to put a time down was Scott Crump in car number 90, as well, Chris, as Caleb Pecumer currently there in that fourth spot. And I did hear from Tyler Fody today that it is not Pechumer, it is Pecumer.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes as we're broadcasting this race, because typically I just butcher some names.
Chris just says whatever he wants. David Bush III out there on the racetrack as well. He's been strong in these GT3s. Not necessarily one of the top threes on a consistent basis, but he's been a quiet fourth place car that has really shown what he can do over the past couple of rounds. Corey Abbott on the racetrack as well, and his number 21 for Abbott Motorsports. Brant Johnson, our import driver from down under, currently out there in car number 9. And Don Hunter, as we mentioned, also on the racetrack, looking to put a time in the books. Typically during the practice session here today, the times were in the mid 144 range. We're seeing low 144 right now with Ryan Kircher, and then just about everyone else: Tyler Fody, Sean Ryan, Justin Wadsworth, Scott Crump, back in that mid to high 144 to low 145 range. And the times were very close in practice, as we just had one wreck it ahead of Ryan Kircher. That was Caleb Pecumer, as he's taking it pit side. We'll see what Kircher does this time, as he's going to come around. And again, with road course qualifying, if you put a tire off, you gain a 1X for off track, anything like that, it's going to cost you your lap.
Yeah, here comes Fody. We saw him pretty fast. I think he's going to pick up some time here.
Tyler Fody.
Not quite enough.
You definitely want to qualify towards the front here, Chris, just with the way... Actually, I say that, but you might want to be at the rear of the GT3s, just with what we might expect to see with the GTPs when they head towards the bus stop for the first time. Of course, there will be a gap between the two groups, but if you close up that hole at the bus stop, it could turn into a big one.
Yeah, but you still want the track position. You don't want to start it. If you start at the back, you'll never pass everybody in this race, being only 90 minutes. It should be a one stop for everybody unless you don't go far enough. So you're going to want the track position. It's really hard to pass. You're going to get strung out.
And just of note here, only 20 seconds remaining for these drivers to start a lap. So if they do not cross the line in the next, 12 seconds, they are not going to be able to complete the lap that they're on. Or, well, they will get to complete the lap that they're currently on, but they won't get to start a new one, as we are now 7 minutes in the books.
And it's been taken away. You cannot start a lap if you're not on
So
one.
the only two drivers that can complete their lap currently are the 32. Actually, only the 32, as the 9 of Sean Ryan does pull off. So the 32 of David Bush III will get to complete his lap.
Here comes Tyler Fody. It looks like he's on a pretty solid lap. I'm not sure if it's enough for the pool. Oh, he was pushing. I think he pushed a little bit too hard there coming out of that
We'll
last
see
corner.
what he can do here as the rest of the GT3s come to a stop. Fody going to come to a stop as well. Does look like Ryan Kircher is going to be the pole sitter here for that GT3 class. David Bush III is still out there finishing up his run. The 21 of Corey Abbott finishing his lap now as well. GTP class coming out onto the racetrack now, Chris. And, well, first car onto the racetrack is a pair of Little Eagle Racing machines, Chad Frankenfield in the 15, as well as the 4 of Ryan Schultz.
We still got David Bush here. Might make a run at the pole. He needs to pick
David
up
Bush
nearly 2
coming
seconds.
around.
But
Doesn't look like he's had the pace on this lap. I think he might just be coming around to head pit side. No, he will finish up the lap here. And
he needs 3/10. That's what I'd be thinking.
David
3/10
Bush
different
III
lines.
can do. And he moves up to
he
fifth.
picked up half a second.
Great
Nicely
drive there.
done.
Great drive right there by David Bush III. Moves from 9th in class up to 5th. So
And
definitely
I'm sorry, I
works
said
his
half
way
a
forward.
second. He picked up 9/10, but he picked up nearly a whole second. So great pickup.
That was a great
but not
run
the
there
last.
by David Bush III. We're watching Chad Frankenfield here. He's out on the racetrack in the number 15. Like I mentioned, Ryan Schuld out there in the 4. Ethan Stanley in car 91 on the racetrack for Lake Norman Motorsports. Jeremy Millerin out there as well in another Apollo racing machine. Justin Fortner, driver the number 26 for Little Eagle Racing. He's another one of those drivers alongside Hunter Smith, in car number 54, as they get by Ethan Stanley, who comes to a slow out there on the racetrack. Not sure what happened there. Troy Banks, a newcomer here tonight, driving the number 25 machine out of Georgia. Also joining us tonight, finally, driver the number 48 for Lake Norman Motorsports. It's Nick Massey, one of our broadcasting friends here at the Elite Racing Network. Andrew Way in the number 8 for Square Motorsports. Austin Bolke in the 05 for Different Path Motorsports. Archie Coveney, the driver of the number 19 machine. Hamilton Akabuize in car 13, our winner of 2 rounds thus far this season. Ryan Gable in the 01 for Lake Norman, and Jared Bridwell, driver the number 09 for RD Simsport. We're going to take a look here at Chad Frankenfield, as he should be the first of the GTPs to come across the line here and put down a time. And again, Chris, like we mentioned earlier, these drivers will split the classes for the start of the race. But we have seen previously, if a GTP does not put a qualifying lap in, they will start behind the GT3s and have to work their way forward. So that could be quite interesting as well. Hopefully they opt to start forward as Chad comes around off the final corner. Puts it all the way out to the wall. He's going to come across, set our standard here. And first time in the books, actually, there he goes. A 129.08 for Chad Frankenfield. A bit of a delay on the update there. Justin Fortner, his teammate, goes second quick. with a 129.24. Here comes Jeremy Millerin in third with a 129.63. As here he is, Archie Coveney, over a second quicker than the Little Eagle Racing cars with a 127.83. Hamilton Akabuize comes in fifth with a 129.49. He's definitely going to look to pick it up a little bit here. I don't believe he started on the pole in either of... Actually, he did at Sebring, started on the pole, but at Daytona started second for Akabuize, so hasn't really had to work his way forward too much. But we'll see what he can do here. I believe he just put a wheel off right there, so that definitely won't count as a good lap for him. Jared Bridwell also went off the racetrack here.
I think our buddy Nick Massey's on a pretty solid lap. I don't know if it'll go to the top of the board.
He just got a little bit sideways right there, Chris. He pushed it all the way out to the rumble strips. He's going to come around, and he's going to go around as Nick Massey going to head pit side in his number 48 machine. Ryan Schultz has still not put a lap in as of yet. He's handling not very well in that machine. Ryan Gable looking to put a time in as well. Looks like he's out there trying to get some heat built up in that car. Time remaining in the session, just 2 minutes time. So if you want to put a lap in, essentially you're going to have to come around this time, take the green flag, and go like gangbusters, as Ethan Stanley was briefly second there, gets knocked back to third. Hamilton Akabuize moves his way into that second spot. Ethan Stanley third. Chad Frankenfield in fourth as he's going to come around. And Jeremy Millerin currently scored in fifth. Watching Ryan Schultz. He just took the green flag, gonna come around and put a time in the books. This time he works his way up through the S's and heading down the straightaway towards the bus stop. Ryan Gable, no time in the books, and he has taken it pit side. So Ryan Gable gonna have to hustle if he wants to get around the racetrack to start a lap here. Not gonna have time to do it as he loses it off of pit road. So Ryan Gable gonna have to start at the tail of the field today. Ryan Schultz seeing if he can work his way at least up into that GTP pack as he's coming around in the boot portion of the racetrack here today. We're going to pop the map up on the racetrack, on the screen here, just so you can see the layout that these guys are running. Schultz goes around. No lap time going to be in the books here for Ryan Schultz, Ryan Gable, Nick Massey, Josh Osborne, or Don Hunter. These drivers all going to have to start at the tail of today's field as Hamilton Akabuize still out there trying to better his lap, looking to put down a pole run here with just 15 seconds to go. He's going to come around and take his final time this time. Actually, he will be able to do one more as he comes across the line. Hamilton Akabuize not able to improve on that lap. Looks like he's going to start second to Archie Coveney, which is a repeat of the Daytona qualifying where Coveney was on the pole. Akabuize was second. Ethan Stanley still on the racetrack now. We'll keep an eye on him through this lap, see if he can improve at all. He's currently third. Going to have the time to come around to finish this lap. Still a minute 54 of track time remaining, despite the checkered flag coming out here in qualifying. Stanley, Frankenfield, Fortner, Smith, and Bridwell on the racetrack. Hunter Smith and Jared Bridwell come to a stop for their lap. Jared Bridwell moves up to fourth, knocks Chad Frankenfield back to that fifth spot. So great run by Jared Bridwell in qualifying here today. Currently scored in fourth. He might get knocked back if Justin Fortner or Chad Frankenfield are able to work their way forward and knock him off.
Yeah, that's going to get a chance to return fire here. Ethan Stanley's on the lap.
Justin Fortner coming around to take checkers on his final lap. And Justin Fortner going to stay in eighth. Here comes Frankenfield now. Scored fifth as he comes to the line. Let's see if he improves on that lap at all. Yes, he does. Chad Frankenfield the third. Ethan Stanley, will he fire back? He does not. So your top five,
Well, he kind of did. Ethan picked up his time, just not enough to get that spot back.
not enough to get it back. That's right. So Archie Coveney on the pole, Hamilton at Cabuize second, Chad Frankenfield third, Ethan Stanley fourth, Jared Bridwell in fifth. That's your top five for GTP. GT3 is Ryan Kircher, Tyler Fody, Sean Ryan, Justin Wadsworth, and David Bush III. That is the top five in class for GT3s. Justin Fortner still out there on the racetrack. I think does have 10 seconds of track time remaining. That is the last car out there on the racetrack, and we're just about to get set to head towards the grid. All right, Chris, as we take a look at the starting grid, like I mentioned, Archie Coveney on the pole, Hamilton at Cabuize second, Chad Frankenfield third, Ethan Stanley fourth, Jared Bridwell in fifth, Jeremy Miller in sixth, Troy Banks seventh, Justin Fortner eighth, Hunter Smith ninth, Andrew Way in 10th, and Austin Bolke rounding out the qualified GTPs in 11th. Chris, why don't you take us through the GT3s, starting with Ryan Kircher?
Well, before we go there, I'm going to talk about Ryan Gable, Nick Massey, Ryan Schold, Josh Osborne. All of those guys are in the prototypes. They did not get a lap down, so we'll have to see where they get put in the lineup. And then as for the rest of them here, we got Ryan Kircher on the pole, Tyler Fody, Sean Ryan, Justin Wadsworth, David Bush III, Scott Crump, Brant Johnson, Caleb, go ahead. What's
Pecumer?
that? Pecumer. Corey Abbott, and then not getting a lap was Don Hunter.
So that
should be exciting, though. We'll see the gap that's left. We'll see if Ryan and Nick, they are the group there. There's four of them lined up back behind. So we'll see if they get waved through. I think we saw them do it at Sebring, wave those guys through on either side. So
yeah, they typically will let those guys by, work their way up to the pack, and see what we can do from there. It does look like everyone opting to start on the grid, Chris. Sometimes you see people start on the pits, but they are not opting to do that today. Why don't we go ahead and make some quick race picks here, Chris? We'll do one per class. I'll let you kick it off with GTP, then I'll make my GTP pick, and we'll come back to you for GT3.
Well, it would be real easy for me to pick Hamilton, right? He's won both of them, likely going to win this one. But because I want it to have a little fun and I don't want to just pick the easy, I will take Ethan Stanley to win the overall race.
Definitely a good pick there, Chris, with Ethan Stanley. I do think Hamilton's probably going to be the car to beat today, but I have to go with the pole sitter, Archie Coveney. He's been very solid through the first two rounds of this series. Just an update, those guys that didn't qualify have been moved up to the tail of the GTPs, so they will start with their class. My pick in GTP, Archie Coveney. Chris, who do you got for GT3?
Well, for GT3, I will take... I guess maybe I shouldn't have picked Ethan Stanley because I already knew who I was picking over here. I'm going to pick Tyler Fody. I guess I'm doubling down on Lake Norman tonight. Take Tyler Fody to win over there.
Tyler Fody, a great pick. I'm going to go one spot behind him on the grid. I'm going to go with the Abbott Motorsports driver, the number 16, Sean Ryan, to take the victory here today in GT3. As the field works their way through the bus stop, we are getting set to go green here momentarily. Hopefully, we're able to stay under green throughout the duration of the event, and I do believe we will, as these drivers have done a nice job thus far in this series to really put on a great show for us.
Should be a great show, too. I mean, we say that every week, but Watkins Glen is a great track. We're running the boot out here. It's going to be an hour and a half, 90 minutes, set a win. If you ain't got your drink, hurry and go get it.
I got my drink.
Popcorn.
Do you got yours?
I do. I have a drink. Well, my first commercial, I'll have to get me another one.
What are you drinking? What's your drink of
I'm
choice here
drinking-
tonight, Chris?
My drink of choice is Mountain Dew.
Very nice. I'm drinking a Pepsi Zero.
But I always have water right beside me, too. I've got
That's
my water,
right.
but I ran out
Gotta
of
have
water.
some water. Chris and I don't take part in that alcoholic broadcasting that some do.
Some
Looking
might
at
say
you,
we'd be
Mark
better
Murphy.
if we were a little bit buzzed.
Some definitely might say that, Chris. Pace car working his way down here, getting set to unleash the power of these GTPs and GT3
You know what we
shortly.
haven't had yet, too? We haven't had a full course yellow yet this season. Might tonight be the first.
Well, if we do, it'll be you that throws it, Chris, right? So we'll see what
It
we
will
can
be?
do.
Well, then it's probably not getting thrown because I don't know how to throw yellow. So.
Don't worry, I'll throw it if we need one.
I'm still new to all this admin stuff. I forget all the power I have.
You have lots of power, Chris. As the pace car getting set to pull pit side, GTP's about to go green. Archie Coveney, Hamilton Akabize are the control cars here in this one. As we come around, we're going to get set to take the green flag.
Oh, green flag is out.
Oh,
Really
already
slow start.
some issues towards the tail of this group. Looks like it's Joshua Osborne getting a little bit bent out of shape. We're watching Ryan Kirchner and Tyler Fody here. Green flag out in GT3. We are fully underway now. Side by side for the lead already. It's Hamilton Akabize on the left side. Archie Coveney on his right as they work their way down the long straightaway here, heading towards the bus stop.
Oh, here we go. We got some defensive driving heading into the bus stop. Something's gotta
Akabize
give.
does
Nobody.
fall back a
Oh,
little
we
bit
got a
here.
spinner. Justin Fortner, we got a big wreck coming out of the bus stop here. Oh. I think we're all right as long as those boys don't pull on the racetrack.
That is the 54 of Hunter Smith done for the day. I believe that's the 25 of Troy Banks, heavily damaged as well.
I think the 26 was over there as well.
Justin Fortner was involved in that one. We're going to take a look here on the Rubilis photography replay machine. Thanks to Mark Rubilis for providing tonight's aerial imaging.
Ooh, Fortner just clipped that grass on the left side. Came across
Fortner
and got
does.
the other two.
Oh, that's unfortunate there. Justin Fortner messaged me before the race and said, hey, you're going to be saying a lot of good things about me tonight, right? And sorry, Justin.
Well, that's a negative on that. And
As-
some of you might be wondering why the caution wasn't thrown there, but they were off the race course.
That's right. If the track was completely blocked and it posed some sort of a risk to those other drivers, then chances are, yes, we likely would have thrown a caution. But our goal is
Oh, we got a wreck
always...
here. Josh Osborne.
Josh Osborne goes around. He's nailed the wall as well. Let's take a look
If
on
he
the
keeps
Rubilis
moving forward, if he
photography
doesn't
replay
play, we
machine.
might do something here.
Oversteps the curbing, goes
Oh,
around.
Ryan Gable. Oh, hard hit. Hard hit in the bus stop.
Ryan Gable continuing his week from hell. Ethan Stanley was involved as well, Chris.
What has happened to Lake Norman here?
Stanley goes around out of the bus stop, nails the tire wall. He should be okay, but effectively he's done. He's out of this. Jeremy Millerin just had an issue. As we're trying to get back live here. Looks like Mark just really wanted us to keep looking at him on his replay machine. Millerin had an issue. A little bit of smoke coming out of the rear of that machine. Archie Coveney is your race leader over Hamilton Akabize and Chad Frankenfield. We have numerous cars on pit road. Justin Fortner, Hunter Smith, Josh Osborne, Troy Banks, Ryan Gable, all on pit road. I'd expect Jeremy Millerin to come down this time as well, potentially, as he's coming out of the final corner. Does stay on the racetrack, okay. So he just proved me wrong, but a lot of early issues here Troy Banks is in the process of getting his car repaired. They got that car jacked up on jack stands. Justin Fortner has just left the pits. He's on his way back out onto the racetrack as Archie Coveney leads by about 0.5 of a second over Hamilton at Gabize. They already have 3.6 seconds over Chad Frankfield, 6 seconds over Jared Bridwell, and 8.7 seconds over Ryan Schuld. Ethan Stanley has disappeared, Chris. Not sure if he's fallen out of the race or if he's exited, but does look like Ethan Stanley has at least come to a temporary finish of today's event.
Yeah, and we're joined now by part of that action. Ryan Gavel is up here with us. Ryan, short night for you, man. What happened?
Yeah, I guess I still hadn't recovered from the brain damage I received in last night's accident, but unfortunately, yeah, that didn't last too long. I didn't get really any practice, and I hopped in for qualifying there, and I did pretty decent. I didn't actually finish a lap, but the 30% of a lap I finished felt pretty good, and missed that first wreck on lap 1, and I thought I was hanging in there with those guys, and I didn't know you couldn't touch that curb going into the bus stop because I hit it and just got a little bit of air, and when the car came back down, and it just hopped and turned around on me. So didn't want that to happen. I was looking forward to running an hour and a half of this race, but unfortunately Stanley and myself both decided to be done for the evening at the same time. So yeah, sort of unfortunate. Didn't want to do that, but thankfully I didn't waste too much time because I didn't even do a lap till qualifying. So unfortunate, but I was kind of looking forward to doing some laps. I do love this racetrack, and these cars are kind of fun, but that certainly wasn't fun.
Yeah, and one's kind of almost asked about some sabotage there because, like you mentioned, Ethan had the problem. Lake Norman, not the start that they wanted here in the first 5-7 minutes.
No, I think we hit the same oil slick there. Someone laid down oil in that bus stop, I swear. That's what I'm gonna lay it down on.
Yeah, because you went through there and got backwards real quick. Like you said, a couple bad wrecks in a row. You're gonna get a couple days off now before you have to go back out there next week.
Yeah, thankfully got a couple days till Wednesday to rest and get this bad juju off my shoulders or whatever. Because yeah, I don't know what that was all about. I was pretty sure those curbs you could be pretty aggressive on. I thought I was pretty aggressive on them in the couple laps I did, and I never had that happen, so that caught me off guard, and unfortunate for sure, but yeah, we'll be back on Wednesday for the old Cup Series race at Iowa. Hopefully pick up a win there because I'm going to need one to move on, but I don't even know where these guys are in 2 weeks, but hopefully I can run another one of these before it's all said and done and actually get a competitive race in, because Daytona, the only other one of these I ran, was a lot of fun. So,
well, the next race is the finale of the series, and it is November 30th at Road Atlanta.
Well, that's unfortunate because I will not be able to attend November 30th. I will be down in Pensacola for the Snowball Derby. So yeah, I will not.
It's too hot for
not make that
snowballs
one.
in Pensacola.
Yes, it sure is, but it's some sort of big race apparently that I gotta go watch.
Apparently.
But apparently, allegedly, but
Well, before we let you out of here, Ryan, I want to ask you about Wednesday and the playoffs. We've got one race in the books. It did not go well. It went really bad for you. Didn't go well for me. So what's your outlook here at Iowa? You just, like you mentioned there, you just trying to win. Is that what you think it's going to take?
yeah, it is. Hopefully, I'll find some time to do some laps and get acclimated to the track, because I really don't know what I'm walking into there. Who knows? I could have some speed. Either way, I'm going to need to go and play some sort of strategy game to try and make it happen, because it's really a must-win. It really already was going into Dover, so must-win is for sure. I was able to top 10 my way through the first round of the playoffs, but barely, and just not having a lot of playoff points, not having the regular season I had hoped for put me in a hole to start with, so kind of was in a must-win already, and I was looking for another top 10 run last night before calamity struck, but and ended my little top 10 streak I had going. But not looking for a top 10 next week. Be looking for a win. Same with the week after. So gotta go out strong here.
Well, it should be an exciting time. We hope that I hope that we both make the playoffs. Both of us take turns winning one of these next two, and then we're both in the fourth.
I am more than happy with that plan there. And as for tonight, I hope the best for whoever's left. I think Massey's out there, Fode's out there running up front, Caleb's out there, so half
Yeah,
of our team.
I believe
is
right when you and
destroyed.
Stanley wrecked there, Nick queued up and he said, "Man, all my teammates are going. They all just wiped out."
Yeah, I think he just drove through the wreckage like he was driving through a Lake Norman cemetery there on the backstretch. So, oh, and Crump's out there too still. So don't forget Crump. He's out there running. So, yeah, not what I was looking for, but you'll have that. And I'm glad I didn't sit here for an hour and 20 minutes just to wreck at the end of it anyway. So I got it over with quick. But yeah, I had a feeling I'd spin once or twice here to start, but that was a bad place to do it because it was just gone.
Well, thanks for coming up here and talking to us, Ryan. We look forward to seeing you race on Wednesday night, and maybe something will happen and you'll be able to race on the 30th. But if not, I'm sure the Snowball Derby will be a great time.
Oh, it will be. Yeah, we'll see. I got to sneak into that cup race there on the Wednesday before, but nevertheless, I'm probably going to need to win something here to make it happen. But I'll be there for the next 2 cup races. If I don't win next week, I might skip the Wednesday after. But if I do win next week, I got to start the Wednesday after somehow. Might be on an Xbox controller on a laptop in a hotel room, but I gotta make something happen.
Well, all right, Ryan. Good luck, and we'll see you on Wednesday.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Well, Chris, that was Ryan Gable, driver of the number 01 machine. Looks like he's going to end today's event, scored in 25th position overall. So not a great night for Ryan Gable, as Justin Fortner just had himself a bit of an off-track adventure. And while you were talking to Gable about the bad luck that Lake Norman has had today, his teammate Nick Massey decided he was going to go on a great landscaping adventure and drove through the grass towards the tail of the bus stop. So loose cars here today for Lake Norman Motorsports.
That's not great. And Ryan was, he even mentioned there, like, that was a great quote. He drove through that Lake Norman cemetery on the
Norman
backstretch.
graveyard, absolutely. That was phenomenal.
Not something you want to be talking about this early, but it's a great line.
Watching Andrew Way here, currently scored 6th in class in GTP. He just drove his way through the GT3 leaders, and it got a little bit sketchy there. We're going to watch Nick Massey as he navigates his way through some of these top GT3 drivers. Currently just behind David Bush III and Justin Wadsworth. Just clears to the right side of Bush. Now he's going to jump in front of Wadsworth, works his way up. The next car ahead of him will be Sean Ryan, driving the 3rd place GT3 car number 16, currently trailing Tyler Fode in the 40 and Ryan Kircher in car number 12 as they're heading towards the boot here. That is Sean Ryan just ahead of Nick Massey. The GTP drivers were told in tonight's drivers meeting they had to use patience here tonight. We saw at Sebring the drivers were getting a little bit aggressive when it came to getting around these GT3s, and it is the GTP's responsibility to make sure they get around these GT3s. The GT3s are to stay in their lane and hold their lane, just make themselves predictable, which
I'm not a big believer in punishing one group of guys over the other. It's just both guys have to work together, like the slower car's got to work with the faster car,
Absolutely.
recognize what's coming.
So I do want to point out a driver here. Ryan Schuld started at the tail of the GTPs. He was one of the drivers that didn't get a qualifying lap in. He's currently scored up in position number 5. So great drive so far by Ryan Schuld. He's gotten by the likes of Andrew Way and Jeremy Millerin, as well as Austin Bulkey, that started up in the class. Nick Massey's worked his way up with Ryan Schuld as well. And yes, some of this has come at the expense of Justin Fortner, Ethan Stanley, Troy Banks, Hunter Smith, Josh Osborne, and Ryan Gable. But great ride so far for Ryan Schuld. Scored in that 5th spot. And we mentioned Andrew Way. He scored back in 6th. Nick Massey, 7th there. Jeremy Millerin in 8th. He had issues earlier on, but has now settled down a bit here. Got his car moving in the right direction. Austin Bulkey there driving that number 05 car, working his way through the boot. But your leader, Archie Coveney, Hamilton, Akabize, and Chad Frankenfield. The top three, with Jared Bridwell scored in fourth. Back to GT3s. Once again, it's Ryan Kircher out front of Tyler Fode. But Fode catching Kircher, Sean Ryan catching Fode. Wadsworth not too far off of them either. David Bush there as well. And there's Justin Fortner, the 10th place GTP, currently scored 15th overall.
Yeah, it got really crazy at the start, and then it's kind of calmed down. But, I mean, we did wreck about 10 cars there in the first 2.5 minutes. We mentioned, we've talked about Lake Norman having a bad start, but I'm not sure what Chad Frankenfield's team name is. I believe Little Eagle. I mean, there was two of their cars
Chad does
wrecked in the bus stop.
I'm going to correct you here. The team
You
is
corrected me
not
last week. It's still
owned
Chad's
by
team.
Chad Frankenfield.
It's Chad's team. That's Chad's team.
It is Ryan Schultz's team alongside Hunter Smith and Justin Fortner. Chad and Mark Murphy have just come along as additions to their organization.
So you're telling me you don't believe Chad makes the decisions over there?
Chad
I
makes
find
the
that
decisions
really hard to
everywhere, but when it comes to the team, no.
Oh, I bet he does.
Should we give Ryan Schultz a call mid-race and ask him? He's currently running in 5th.
He would have to check with Chad first to make sure it was okay.
Now.
Come on, we got to go for the whole bit.
As we take a look on the racetrack here, Christopher. Justin Fortner working his way back through the GT3s. Trying to get by Ryan Kircher to work himself back into the top 10. Justin Fortner back now into that 10th position. When the car's fixed up, it definitely is a lot quicker than the GT3 cars. And I want to point one thing out here. Archie Coveney has now pulled away from Hamilton Akabize. The distance between first and second now, Chris, 4.1 seconds, and then 8 seconds back to Jared Bridwell, who is currently
but that doesn't
scored
bother
in
me
third.
because we saw Hamilton come from 20 seconds back in 15 minutes at Daytona.
Hamilton
I
plays
think he
these
just does
guys.
out
He
here,
plays
yeah.
these guys.
He's racing one-handed,
You know
one tied
what?
behind his
You know what
back.
he reminds me of, Chris? I'm going to compare this to our stock car side. You look at Garrison Hogan. That guy can start at the back of the field. Same with John Cutlip as well. They start at the tail of the field. They'll work their way up to like third, fourth in no time at all. These guys know how to work their way through traffic. That's what Hamilton Akabuize reminds me of. Is one of those guys that just can put his car anywhere, work his way forward, and just genuinely be one of the best drivers in the field.
I'm going to tell you
by
what,
far.
this race for the lead here between Tyler Fode and Ryan Kircher is pretty good. Ryan just ran defensive all the way down the backstretch, all the way against the inside grass.
We're going to throw
upset all
an
of them.
in-car with Tyler Fode. Actually, we're not, because there's too much going on around these guys. We're going to jump up to our chopper cam. This scene you see right here, Chris, is Ryan Kircher, Tyler Fode, and Sean Ryan. That's the top three in GT3, and they are all together right now.
Yeah, and they're racing too. This isn't them riding. I'm telling you, that leader, Ryan's
really got
good
company.
driving defensively.
Absolutely. He has company here, and he has to drive defensively. He cannot handle just cruising at this point. He has to block these runs by Tyler Fode. Fode's got to look for any opening he can get to get by the number 12 machine of Ryan Kircher. Kircher in the 12, Tyler Fode in the 40, and Sean Ryan there in car 16. That's your top three in GT3. Fode all over the place. Looks to the left side of Ryan Kircher. Not quite able to get there. Now he does. They're going to be side by side down to turn number 1. Nearly wheel-to-wheel contact. Fode goes way off the racetrack here. Gathers it back up.
Just about some contact as he blends back on.
Tyler Fode, known to be aggressive if he needs to.
Watch this. The last time it was super defensive down here.
Look at this.
Look at
Sean
this
Ryan
BMW.
bump drafting. Here we
Yeah,
go.
we got some bump draft down this back straightaway.
Kircher
lifts?
going to do it
It's
full
Fody.
send style into the bus stop. Fody
Yeah,
had
Fody
to,
lifted.
otherwise he was going to wipe them both out here, Chris. Sean Ryan all over the rear end of Tyler Fody. I think he's just waiting in the wings till Fody gets by Kircher. They're going to have to work on winding it back up to get closer to the rear bumper of that 12 machine. These Porsches out front here. It's Porsche, BMW, the top three in GT3. That BMW very, very heavy compared to these Porsches. It just feels a lot heavier. Their actual weight difference I don't think is too large, but definitely a heavier driving car. That's Archie Coveney that just went by, your overall race leader, the GTP leader, who I believe now is 2 laps ahead of these drivers. Yes, 2 laps ahead of the GT3 cars. We're going to keep an eye here on this battle for the GT3 lead. That's the closest battle of substance out here on the racetrack. We have a couple other small battles going on here, but Tyler Fody chasing down Ryan Kircher. He's going to have a good opportunity here to get a run, but that might get thwarted here as Hamilton Akwize going to go by
This
these
is where
drivers.
Fody's really good, though, up the hill here. Leave it from turn 1
Fody
to the bus
goes
stop. I think
way
he's really
wide
good.
off of turn number 1. Now all the way up here through the S's. He's going to be all over the rear end of Ryan Kircher. Kircher going to try to hold off Fody. Fody puts his nose to the outside of Kircher, not quite able to get there. Now they're going to be side by side as they work their way up here into the bus stop. Kircher going to have the advantage now as they come out of the bus stop. Kircher still out front. Fody second. Sean Ryan there in that third spot. Quickly taking a glance
Fody's being
up
really
through
smart
the
right now.
field.
He's not pushing it in there.
This is
Fody's
the
got
only battle.
faster
We're going to
car.
keep it here.
Fody's got the faster car, but he's being really, really smart, really patient, and just biding his time. He knows that there's still an hour 10 left, so all it takes is one time for him to get a big enough run. As right now, they're going to be in the midst of a lot of faster
That's
cars. a lot of
Jared
traffic happening.
Bridwell going by. This is going to be an opportunity for Tyler Fody as well. He's getting closer than he has
here we
been
go.
yet as they work their way up here.
Side by side with. Here comes Chad behind
Fody
him.
pushes him off. Fody's doing what he has to do here. Chad's going to take a dive to the left side of Fody. Gets on by. Fody goes wide on exit. That's going to open the door for Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan didn't take the opportunity to get by the Ryan Kircher machine, but
I think Fody should
now
pull away
your
now.
GT3 leader. Fody's going to pull away through the S's, I think, Chris, but Kircher seems to be a little bit quicker through the carousel to the boot and back to the start-finish line. So
I don't know if I buy that. I
think he's a little quicker.
Fody's given up a lot of time back there where he's having to lift in the bus stop early. We're going to get to see what Fody's got through there right here. Here comes Ryan Schultz, going to pass both of them.
Whoa! Ryan Schultz zigging and zagging. Didn't opt for just one.
Yeah, here, see, Fody's just pulling away.
Oh, contact there between Kircher and Ryan. Not sure if you saw that, Chris. Slight contact there between the second and third place GT3s.
Yeah, I think that was the faster car trying to come around him there and might have surprised him.
Just an update here. A couple of cars have rejoined the field. That includes Hunter Smith, Brant Johnson back out there as well. Crump just had an off-track moment in his number 90 machine. He's able to gather it back up. Currently scored back there. I believe he's about 8th in class currently for Scott Crump. Yes, he is. And take a look at that picture there of Crump and his son. I love his kid's face
And the
in
rule
that
tonight
picture.
is if it's paved, they can use it, right?
Absolutely.
Because there was some talk about it, and then it dawned on me, people who are used to watching sports car racing, they might be used to time penalties for people running wide and stuff, but it's got a NASCAR style rules tonight. If it's paved, you can run it.
One thing on that, though, is there are still track limits. You can't necessarily drive all the way out to the wall, I don't think, to get by your competitor, but these drivers haven't really played with that too much. 7 seconds, by the way, now, the lead between Coveney and Akabuize. Nick Massey decides to go off track. Now he's slow to gather it back up. He falls back to 8th in class here in GTP. Gets passed by Jeremy Millerin and Andrew Way, as he is the second last GTP on the lead lap. Austin Bulkey currently holding on to 9th. Justin Fortner rounding out the top 10. Fody leads GT3 ahead of Ryan Kircher, Sean Ryan, Justin Wadsworth, and David Bush III. That's your top 5, followed by Corey Abbott, Caleb Pecumer, Scott Crump, and Don Hunter. Everyone else either out or just getting repaired. Brant Johnson, Hunter Smith have rejoined. Meanwhile, Ethan Stanley, Troy Banks, Josh Osborne, and Ryan Gable out of the event.
Oh, we got a little contact there.
I believe that's the Austin Bulkey machine forcing his way past the Sean Ryan 16 machine.
Oh, more contact.
Yeah, Bulkey a little aggressive getting through the GT3s. Tyler Fody's like,
I
yeah,
don't know.
I'm letting you go by.
Let's see. Let's take a look at it. I'm not sure that there was much. Okay, so he got to the outside of the third place car, and the third place car drove down deep, stayed beside him. I really can't put that on Austin. That first one, can't really put it on Austin. The second one, I mean, that car knew he was coming, knew he was the faster car. He stayed to the right. I mean, maybe he could have fell in behind him, but I really don't think either one of those incidents was necessarily over aggression. The second one more so. The second one I could see more so than the first one. That first one, I don't think that was anything egregious. That second one, I guess it depends on who you are.
Just trying to sound like Andrew Rucker right there with that statement, Chris.
What, depends on who you are? Well, I'm just saying, like, that's one that people are going to debate. That's one that somebody could say, oh, he didn't need to dive down in there, which he didn't. But at the same time, he didn't just late dive it. He stayed to the right. The guy behind him knew where, you know what I mean? Or should have known where he was.
Absolutely. As we take a look here, Tyler Fody still the leader of the GT3 class. Sean Ryan a little bit behind him, and Ryan Kircher now back to 3rd in class. Looks like they did put Brant Johnson an additional lap down. Johnson had some damage from an earlier incident. As we take a look at Archie Coveney. Coveney currently your overall race leader, has himself an 8.6 second lead over Hamilton Akabuize. So we will see what happens when it comes to pit stops that should be coming up somewhere in probably the next 20 to 25 minutes or so. But we'll see how much these guys can stretch it out as well. You never know what might happen.
Oh, Nick Massey's around. He saved it.
Massey goes for a bit of a slide, able to gather up that number 48 Lake Norman Motorsports machine. Looks like Tyler Fody, the team owner, didn't invest in some good setups for these drivers tonight. So they're dealing with ill-handling race cars in that Lake Norman Motorsports camp here tonight. That might be something to keep an eye on as tonight's event advances through. Chris, let's do a lap on board. Let's see who's coming around. We're going to do a lap on board here with Jeremy Millerin, driver of the number 11 GTP for Apollo Racing.
Caution. We got, maybe.
No, they're off the track.
Oh man.
Oh no, we just had a major incident. I believe it involved Chad Frankenfield. Oh.
Wow, Crump. I just don't think did Crump know that he was coming?
Frankenfield was coming up out of the S's, and Crump just turns into him here. But just an update here, Archie Coveney just went pit side in his number 19 machine. That's your race leader. Watching Scott Crump here, Chris kind of looks like he slows up. He's carrying his pace through the S's. Frankenfield starts approaching, and it looks like he slows up and moves over.
I'm just not sure. Like, well, he's not going to have the top end speed. Crump's not. I don't see him slowing up.
We're going to go ahead and throw it to. We're going to throw it to a commercial here. And when we come back, we'll carry you through the middle portions of today's race.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we are back here, Chris.
Driven through by GT3, slowing down GT3 traffic. No,
Upon review of the incident between the 11 of Millerin and the 12 of Kircher, tally's been issued to the 12 of Ryan Kircher.
Oh, Nick Massey's around over here.
So Massey goes around. Chris, we just had one hell of a sequence here over the last couple of laps. And Chris, I know you have communication with Nick Massey. Why don't you get him to jump over here and we'll have a quick discussion with him. As we see our new race leader, Hamilton Akabuize, out front. Ryan Schuld second. Andrew Way in third. Archie Coveney in fourth. Coveney did receive a tally for contact with, I believe it was Tyler Fody, if I remember correctly. Austin Bolke currently scored fifth. Jeremy Miller in sixth, missing part of his vehicle. And Jared Bridwell currently scored in seventh.
Yeah, this sequence of events here was
wow.
pretty nutty.
And just an update here on GT3. Sean Ryan leads GT3 over Tyler Fody and David Bush III, as Ryan Kircher now finds himself on pit road after an incident with Jeremy Millerin. Caleb Pecumer, Corey Abbott rounding out the top five in GT3. We're working on getting Nick Massey over here for a quick discussion on his race thus far.
Well, I sent out the invitation for Nick to come over and give an interview. We'll see if he opts to accept it. We should be approaching a set of green flag stops here.
Schuld in second, Way third. Watching for some battles on the racetrack, and Chris, we have none. Everyone's separated by at least a second on the racetrack at this point.
Yeah, it got pretty crazy there too. Oh, the leader bounces off of another GT car. Well, this Archie is dipping, diving in and out. Like, that could have easily been another
Archie's
tally.
no longer the leader.
Well, he's pitted. He's still going. I think when pit stops cycle through, he will be the leader.
He had a long stay on pit road, but we will see. I think he should cycle back to that lead. Nick Massey slow, must be getting his makeup on before he gets up here in the booth.
Well, he might not come. I think he said he's going to fix his car and get back out there.
He can still come for a quick chat. Tell us what's going on in those Lake Norman cars tonight. I just want to point out, I made a note of it over the...
Oh, we got to spin. Justin Wadsworth is around. Contact with the... Is that the 07? Joshua Osborne?
Yes, it is.
Oh, and then they collide again driving away. Oh, man. And Josh just took a big dive there. Drove across the curb.
Wow.
Josh took blame, so I believe that he will be at fault there.
Wow. what a couple laps, Chris. It's been nuts, actually.
Yeah, we got craziness at the start, and then it calmed down, and I was like, all right, we're settled in for a race. And yeah, more craziness ensued. Here comes Tyler Fody down the pit road. The only Lake Norman car who's still relatively clean, even though he did have some contact earlier.
I'm going to correct you on that, actually. Caleb Pecumer also looking pretty good out there in car number 59, currently scored 4th in class in GT3.
Lots of cars currently on pit road right now. Here comes Caleb.
That's for sure. Caleb coming pit side. I would expect Sean, Ryan, and David Bush soon to come down pit road. Hamilton Akabuize still leads the way. Ryan Schultz second and Andrew Way in third.
Well, and now your request is here. Nick Massey has shown up. He had to sit in that makeup chair a little bit longer. Got to make him look good there, Nick.
It's a lot of work to do that.
And he had to go through the concussion protocol, too. He had to make sure he knew where he was after that hard hit backed it in.
Nick, you wrecked the car. What happened?
Yeah, it got a little loose going into the boot over there, and then I backed it in the fence, and then I went around another lap, and then the wing just decided it didn't want to be attached to the car anymore going up the S's. And then I had no downforce, no rear downforce going to the bus stop, and then looped it again. So, yeah, we only got a couple minutes here of optional repairs, so we'll probably get back out there. But
now, over the last handful of laps, we've seen a lot happen in this race, including an incident with your teammates Scott Crump and Chad Frankenfield coming together. But what has caused everything to happen all at once here in the last couple laps? Was there a promise of like free ice cream or something in the driver's lounge?
I don't know. Their cars spinning everywhere and parts laying everywhere across the track. So I don't know what's been going on, but I feel like it was a pretty clean race up until that point. And then all of a sudden people decided they want to start wrecking. But yeah, I don't know. I would say full moon, but it's like 2 p.m. in Sim, so I don't know.
And Lake Norman Motorsports seems to be struggling a little bit tonight when it comes to keeping all their race cars on the racetrack. Is it the setup? Is it just not your guys' track here tonight?
I don't know. I think Ethan and Tyler Fody were pretty good, but you know, that was like lap 2 or 3. I saw both my teammates.
Did you say Ethan?
Yeah, Ethan Stanley there.
Oh, he's currently scored 23rd. He's been done for about 45 minutes.
Oh, I know. It was like lap 2 or 3, and I come around and I see my two teammates in the prototypes there, Ryan Gavel and Ethan Stanley. I see their cars in pieces over there in the bus stop.
So Gavel described that as the Lake Norman Cemetery. Do you think that's a good descriptor?
I think we've all well, except maybe Fody, but I feel like we've all spun over there tonight, at least in the prototypes. This car with that curbing over there is not forgiving at all. You got to hit it just right, or it's gonna bottom out and spin you right around. Yeah,
you're pretty accurate there. It's the only cars from Lake Norman not to spin tonight. Tyler Fody and Caleb P. Cucumber have stayed.
Oh, and Tyler had that half spin. He had contact earlier with that and did a half spin, lost the lead. But I do have one question here.
Go for it.
Did Tyler go far enough on fuel there, Nick? Is he not going to have to stop with 5-6 minutes left?
I think he should be good tonight. I told him you were disappointed in their fuel strategy the past couple of weeks, so I think I maybe spoke some sense into those boys, try to get them to one-stop it.
And speaking of Fody, he is currently battling with Sean Ryan for the lead once again in GT3. Fody all over the rear end of Sean Ryan, and I don't believe Ryan has actually come to pit road yet. Yes, he did. Ryan has 1 lap newer tires, so this is your battle for the GT3 lead. Now, Nick, you mentioned your car close to getting repaired. How do you think it'll feel when you go back out there, and what's your goal? You think you can gain a couple more spots potentially?
Yeah, I think so. We're just over halfway, so I think maybe hold on to a top 10 here, and who knows? I mean, these other guys probably aren't trying to wreck yet either, so we'll see if we're able to maybe pick up a couple spots.
and you might be the only guy to make money tonight. You did a lot of yard work for Watkins Glen tonight.
Yeah, I think they should just pave all that area down there because I was using all of it. I think would have saved probably a race car or two. But yeah, definitely using all that runoff in the bus stop and testing out the tire barriers down there in the boot.
Is it safe? Safe to hit?
They felt pretty soft. I didn't hit it that hard, but it did make the wing fall off, so I don't know.
Just a quick note jumping in here. Hamilton Akabuize has come pit side. He is your leader here in GTP. Ryan Schultz coming pit side as well. That'll hand the lead back over to Archie Coveney. Nick, how much time left until you can get back out on the racetrack?
I think we're about ready to go right now.
All right, before we let you go, any shout-outs you want to give?
Yeah, shout out to the Lake Norman crew. This is the first race I've made with these boys. I haven't been able to make any of this
Too busy
so far
playing
this season.
cornhole.
Yeah,
I
shout
know.
out to the Lake Norman crew. They got a lot of work this week to rebuild some race cars.
Yeah, the one race I show up to, they all crash out by lap 5. How about that?
You're just bad luck.
I guess so. Shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast. Hopefully it'll turn into a good finish. Looks like GT cars pretty close right now, so we'll see what happens.
Everything's GT cars. What do you mean? All right, Nick, best of luck to you. We'll see you back on the racetrack here in hopefully a minute or two.
Alrighty, we'll see ya.
That was Slick Nick Massey, driver the number 48 for Lake Norman Motorsports. Looking at the GT3 battle here, Sean Ryan leads by 0.3 of a second over Tyler Fody. Archie Coveney was able to get that lead back by 31 seconds over Hamilton Akabuize, but there's a 10-lap difference on tires. Hamilton pit on lap 30, meanwhile Coveney pit on lap number 20. So definitely going to be a difference there. But we'll see if there's some sort of equalizer that comes into play as we advance a little bit further into today's show.
And I'm going to tell you, it's about time for Hamilton to start racing. We're about to see what kind of speed he's got in his race car, I think.
Yeah, Hamilton is going to have a little bit of company there. Jared Bridwell just behind him. Bridwell pit about the same time as Archie Coveney, so 11 lap older tires than Hamilton. And taking a look pit side, well, he's out of the pits. It's Nick Massey. He's on the racetrack now, working his way back out there. Currently scored 15th overall, so could potentially gain another spot or two.
Yeah, and I think he just wants to go out there and prove that he could run without any issues. You know, a lot of that, you know, you get back out there, you don't want to end the race like that, and get out there and be running at the end, running at the finish, take something away from it, learn something. I know he's planning on running again in a couple weeks, so seat time in this car is, you know, very important. So right now, Hamilton running right in front of Jared there. Close battle for second. But I will say this, if we watch Archie, like we're seeing right here with Archie, no traffic in front of him, so I'm going to talk about something that's not even going to happen right now for us to see. But Archie is very aggressive in traffic. He takes those dives, and it's really risky. I guess that's what he feels like he needs to do. He knows Hamilton is probably about to turn the wick up a little bit, and he's being super aggressive, trying to just keep that gap big and keep working through traffic. But it'd be very easy for him to make a mistake, or somebody else, you put somebody in a bad spot and they make a mistake and you're caught up in it.
Chris, I do just want to jump in here with a storyline that we're going to have to watch over the next probably hour or two, which of course is after tonight's race, as a very loud car just drove by outside. I'm not sure, did you hear that, Chris?
I did.
Yeah, that car was really loud. As Josh Osborne wrecks in front of Archie Coveney, that got a little sketchy. So the storyline we're going to have to watch here is, as per elite standards, an intentional wreck is a one calendar
Josh
week
Osborne's around the
penalty.
camp.
David Bush III just crashed. Josh Osborne crashed, like you mentioned as well. He gathers it back up. But the precedent that has been set here in Elite is an intentional wreck is a 1 calendar week suspension. If that's the case, and that's what is ruled by the administration of the Elite Racing League, so the overall admin team, that could lead to a suspension for Scott Krupp in the Truck Series, the Grand National Series, and the Cup Series next week.
Yeah,
So
the only one that matters is the Cup Series. He's still in the play.
that could essentially take him out of contention for the Final Four.
Yeah, it would put him in a must-win. That would be. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about something that may or may not happen here. We'll have to wait and see how that shakes out.
Absolutely.
I hate to see that happen to somebody. You know, you don't want to beat somebody in the playoffs like that.
That's
and
why
obviously
we
it's more
don't
than
make
just
that
him.
ruling. We leave that up to the administrative team.
But on the other side of that
Anyways, in
coin,
this one-
you cannot be aggressive like that. And
You can be aggressive. You just can't.
well, you can't wreck somebody intentionally.
That's it. I mean,
no space for that.
I've been on that side where I intentionally wrecked Chad at Sonoma a couple seasons ago, and I
I
ended
thought
up
you said it was brake failure. I didn't know it was intentional.
at Sonoma. Absolutely not. I full sent him, but that led to a full week suspension. So we'll see what happens. But in this one, Archie Coveney, your leader by 32 seconds over Hamilton Akabuize. Jared Bridwell in third. Great run by Bridwell here tonight. Absolutely phenomenal. Ryan Schuld in fourth. That's it for lead lappers. 4 on the lead lap, and Schuld kind of just hanging on. He's only, I believe, about 15 seconds or so from going a lap down to Archie Coveney. Then we take a look at GT3. It's Sean Ryan leading by 0.3 of a second over Tyler Fode. And Corey Abbott, pork chop, currently scored third in class. And he's on that same tire strategy as Tyler Fode and Sean Ryan. So great run here for Corey Abbott. He should be very happy with that. I know coming into tonight, confidence level not the highest for Corey Abbott. I spent some time with him before tonight's race, and I think he was just hoping to finish. So if he can finish in this top 3, I think that's a fantastic night for Corey Abbott.
Now, I believe Tyler Fode just took the lead.
And yes, he did. He did get by, took advantage of some GTP cars going on by. That was Jeremy Millerin that just got by the Tyler Fode machine. Just behind him, Sean Ryan waiting in the wings.
Now, Nick said, he told him how hard I was being on their fuel mileage and their fuel strategy, and that he thought Fode was going to be able to go all the way to the end tonight. I very well think Fode could have won the first 2 races if he would have played better fuel mileage strategy and pitted late enough to make it on one stop, because he was on pit road with like 3 or 4 minutes left in both races.
So, Chris, we do have a little bit of a battle here for second overall. Hamilton Akabuize leads Jared Bridwell. Well, actually second, ahead of Jared Bridwell by about 1.5 seconds currently. So they're somewhat close. I think Hamilton's going to start pulling away here shortly. Again, 11 lap difference in tires. But let's give a shout out once again to Ryan Schuld. Currently scored 4th overall, started at the tail of the GTPs, now has found his way up into that 4th position. Austin Bulkey, a driver we haven't spoken a ton about here tonight, currently scored 5th overall, actually 6th now as he gets passed by Jeremy Millerin. Millerin works his way to 5th, Bulkey back to 6th, Andrew Way in 7th there in GTP, having a nice run tonight. And Justin Fortner, great rebound, was on pit road for damage earlier, now finds himself 8th overall. Just behind them, Tyler Fode, the leader of GT3, followed by Sean Ryan in 2nd, Corey Abbott 3rd, Caleb Pecumer there 4th in class. Don Hunter currently scored 5th in GT3s. Then we find Nick Massey 14th overall, 9th in class of the GTPs. Brant Johnson there as well, and everyone else pretty much out of the race as we watch our leader, Archie Coveney, currently scored 1st overall, 31.7 seconds ahead of Hamilton Akabuize.
Yeah, and Fody and Sean Ryan are still really close. They are still having traffic work their way through them. Like you mentioned, that battle for second is slowly drifting apart. Hamilton just ran so much further. And I think that's going to help Hamilton in the long run. He's going to be able to short fill here. His pit stop's going to be faster, quite a bit faster than Archie's. So I look for Hamilton to maybe try to close this thing out once again at the end and come on strong.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on that, Chris. Hamilton is the closer here in the GTPs. Not going to compare him to Kevin Harvick. That's totally different kind of racing and whatnot. But Hamilton Akabuize, the closer for sure in GTP. Like you said, for Daytona, came from about 22 seconds back to work his way up into that victory. So if he can do it here tonight from 31 back, I think that's going to be a race to remember.
And I don't even think he needs to come from 31 back. His pit stop, like I said, he's going to be able to short fill the car. His pit stop's probably going to be 10, 15 seconds faster.
You're right on that. You're right on that, Chris, for sure.
He's not going to have to gain that much. We're talking 15, 20 seconds probably after the pit stop. That's all he's going to need to pick up. I think he can easily pick that up. Because right now he's matching lap times even a little better.
Yeah, it's gonna be something to watch here. Let's see if we can get those lap times up on the screen. Just give me 1 second here. Let's see what we can do.
He was about a tenth slower that lap.
There we go.
He lost about a tenth that lap.
So you look at the last couple of laps. Coveney has been a little bit slower than Akabuize 4 of the last 5 laps. So Akabuize,
oh man,
that got close.
That's what I'm talking about,
Coveney,
though. He is being super aggressive. I think he knows Hamilton's turning the
Chris,
wick up.
just to point out here, Jared Bridwell pit a lap sooner than Archie Coveney on the first pit stop. Jared Bridwell just came down pit road.
Yeah, and I think, they should be able to make it from here. This is right at their window.
This
Probably
is about 18 laps since Coveney last pit. He last pit on lap 20. They can make it 30 laps, as we saw with Hamilton.
Yeah, so they could probably make it from here. But if where they pitted, they're going to have to take a full load of fuel. And like I've kind of, beaten a dead horse here, Hamilton is not going to have to take a full load of fuel.
No, you're definitely right on that. We're going to have to keep an eye on their strategies when it comes to pitting here. If Hamilton can extend longer than Coveney can here, which he should naturally be able to, it's going to be interesting to see the gap between the two of them.
Nearly 2 seconds faster that lap, too.
Could Hamilton come out ahead of Archie Coveney?
I don't think so. He's too far back to come out ahead. He's going to come out.
It's possible that he could be within 10 seconds.
And Hamilton don't even have to run very long. Hamilton could, if Hamilton wanted to, he could probably pit and just get fuel. I don't know what the tire wear looks like, but he don't have many laps on his tires. He could probably pit and just fuel up at the same time.
Well, Chris, you came in as Nick Massey's spotter. Could you see what his tire wear was when he came to pit road?
Mid 50s to 60s there, but remember he spun out about 17 times.
He spun, about once per lap. So he's probably going to be
I hope
in
he
the
watches
80s
that back
or
later
so.
because he'll be upset when we said
Here
that.
he comes, Archie Coveney to pit road. Coveney comes down pit road here. That should be the final pit stop here for your race leader, Coveney. We're going to watch Hamilton Akabuize here, see what he does when it comes to his pit stop.
He could
if he wanted to. He doesn't want to, clearly, because he stays out on the racetrack. But it's going to be interesting to see if he extends as long as he did before. Just 29 minutes to go now in the session. We'll have to keep an eye out. I think we're still probably 5 laps away from Hamilton coming pit side. what we're going to do is we're going to step away for our final commercial break here of tonight's 90 minutes at the Glen. When we come back, we'll take you through the conclusion of this pit cycle and the finish of today's race. Don't go anywhere. Hamilton Akabuize leads, as well as Tyler Fode. We'll be back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit
And we are back here at Watkins Glen International. My name is Robert Hill Jr. Joining me as always, Chris Wright. You just heard from our friends at iRacing.com and TA Services. TA, one of our premier partners here in the Elite Racing League, alongside Blue Egg Marketing. Blue Egg is the marketing department for small businesses, small business owners. Blue Egg is your biggest fan. Another premier partner here in Elite is Worldwide Technology Raceway, home to a 1.25-mile oval, 2-mile road course, quarter-mile drag strip, and a state-of-the-art karting facility known as the Kartplex. Check out Worldwide Technology Raceway today. 26 minutes remain in today's event. Archie Coveney has led most of the day in GTP. He has come down pit road for what should be his final pit stop. Watching Hamilton Akabuize, winner of the opening 2 rounds of the series, still on the racetrack, has not calmed down yet. Chris Wright, when do you think we will see this number 13 machine on pit road for his final visit of the day?
If I was him, I'd go ahead and pit now. He's got some cars out in front of him, traffic he's going to have to work. So I would pit now instead of having to work all this traffic. I might have pitted last lap. I mean, I don't know, maybe he sees that he can clear it, make a few more hot laps, and then, you know, pit before he deals with some other traffic. So I would have probably pitted last time, so I'm not sure what he's thinking here, but I do know that you were plugging some sponsors, and I'll go ahead and, you know, we had that iRacing commercial. Well, their Black Friday sale started yesterday, I believe. I believe it's 20 or 25% off yearly subscription, so you can run that up to, I think, 5 or 6 years. So if you're looking to get into iRacing on a discount, or if you're just looking to extend your membership, now's the time.
Absolutely. Definitely a good way to get in or stay around with iRacing.com and their Black Friday deal. Like you mentioned, Chris, I've used it in the past. I'll likely use it again before it's over to extend for another year. Of course, got to lock back in. We have another full season of Elite Racing action coming up in 2024, and should be another great year. Signups are currently posted in the Discord, so if you're looking to get involved, just send a tweet to Chad on Twitter or the Elite Racing League Twitter page or X page or whatever letter of the alphabet it wants to be this week, and we'll get you hooked up.
Yeah, and this season's not even over yet. We still got some racing left, some champions to crown. But I will say this: I have seen the schedule for next season, and put your seatbelt on because it's crazy, it's wild, and it's all over the place. I won't leak anything out right now. We'll have to wait and see.
It's not really a leak because it's available currently on Sim Racer Hub.
Okay, but most people don't know how to get the Sim Racer Hub, so you
That's
just
true.
watch the Elite Twitter.
Coveney's stuck here, or not Coveney, Akabuize, stuck behind one of the GT3s. I believe that was Don Hunter. Yes, it was Don Hunter. That was just
I told him.
ahead.
I told you. These guys need to let me strategize for him. He should have already been on pit road, not had to work that traffic.
And he's staying out there. I think he's going to pit with about 20 minutes to go. Coveney is closing that gap up here, Chris. I think he should have pit as well.
Should have pitted way before all that
If
traffic.
Hamilton would have pitted maybe halfway between now and when Archie pit not long ago, I think he would have had a better shot because 23 seconds Archie can make up just on entry and exit of pit road. So it'll be interesting here to see what happens. Anyways, top 3 in GTP: Hamilton, Akabuize, Archie Coveney, and Ryan Schuld. Schuld in 3rd already here after starting at the tail of GTP. And then in GT3, it's Tyler Fody, Sean Ryan, and Corey Abbott, the top 3 in that class. Fody still has Sean Ryan in his mirror as they get passed by one of the GTPs. That I believe to be
Archie
Coveney. Yeah, good call, Chris. Good call out. Not
Driving
the comics, the driver.
Yeah, what's the good nickname? The Pink Machine? Is that what it should be?
The
Lots
Pink
of pink.
Panther. I like that machine. It's like a pink camo on that car. Very cool design for Archie Coveney. And just an
whatever it is,
update,
it's fast.
Hamilton
That's-
Akabuize stayed out again.
That thing's fast. That's all that matters.
Absolutely.
Hamilton's not slow, but I mean he's going to need some help to win this race.
I'd like to see Hamilton with a paint scheme, or sorry, this is road racing, Chris. It's a livery.
As paint schemes.
I'd like to see a paint scheme delivery on that number 13 of Hamilton Akabuize. Maybe for the 2024 Sport Car Series, if we have one. I hope we do.
I hope we do, and I hope we add on to it. Let's get some driver swaps. You know, that's my thing. These hour-and-a-half races with no driver swaps, I think it would be better if you
What
added...
we'll do is we'll do driver and announcer swaps. So middle of the race, we can swap out.
Hey, that works for me. I would love to drive in this series if you get some driver swaps for me out there with somebody, you know. And I'll race half the race, broadcast the other half. 3-hour races, be fun. Some day to night. We got rain coming. You know, we got to keep this series. This series got to come back next year because we're gonna have some rain.
All right.
We're gonna
So
race in the rain.
speaking of rain, we both know Chad Frankfield. We know
Oval
that
race in the rain. I already said it. I've already talked about it.
I was just
I've
gonna
been
say
pushing
that.
Chad.
I was just gonna
We
say
can run
that.
at New Hampshire in the rain. Let's do it.
Imagine Martinsville in the rain, Chris.
That'll be awesome. I'm all for it.
I've done an oval race in the rain in real life. It's wild. I remember going down into turn 3 at my local track, Capital City Speedway. It's closed now, almost 10 years already, which is wild. It was raining. Drove into the corner, didn't see the car ahead of me, ran right into the back of him, and then it, I guess, punctured my radiator. I spun on my own fluids and was facing traffic coming right at me. It was quite the experience. Oh no, Corey Abbott just had an off-track moment. He was or is running 3rd in class in GT3. It's going to push him a little bit closer to Caleb Pecumer, or how did I say his name? Pecumer. There we go.
I don't know. I was waiting to see you say it because I knew I wasn't going to chime in and go anywhere with that.
Fody sent me a message earlier today. I guess Caleb works with him at Porsche. They're desk buddies, and
Fody would have an office job. He wouldn't be out there getting his hands dirty.
yeah, Fode's the guy that answers the phone and books you in for an oil change.
I figure out where he is. I'll call him every day at his lunch break.
As Hamilton stays out on the racetrack, just 19 minutes to go, Chris. I'm a little surprised that he's still out there. He's coming up on the third place GT3 of Corey Abbott. Has to go a little bit far right there to get by the Abbott machine. Abbott continuing on as we currently run. Hamilton Akabize leads by 25 seconds over Archie Coveney. His blinking does continue, able to gather it back up. Schultz still in third. Has Ryan Schultz pit? Yes, he has. He pit on lap number 30, the same lap as Hamilton Akabuize. So if we see Schultz come down pit road, that might be an indicator for when Hamilton will hit pit road as well, because I do expect them to come back down. I don't think they can make it to the end on fuel.
Oh, no, for sure they're not making it to the end on fuel. It's just a question of when their pit, how long is the pit going to be. I don't think Hamilton's ran the lap times that he needs to run down Archie, so I think Archie needs to back it off from 100% to 90 and make solid lap time, because I just don't see Hamilton being able to
Hamilton's
get this done.
been multiple tenths quicker 3 of the last 5 laps, Chris. On lap 42, he was 3 tenths quicker. 43, 1.1 quicker. 44, 1.3 slower. 45, 0.034 slower. And then lap 46, 0.286 quicker. Lap 47, they were dead even.
That's been Archie in traffic. Archie's dealt with a lot of traffic here the last few laps. He's gotten in clear track. Like this lap right here, I think from Archie is going to be pretty solid. He had no traffic this lap. I don't know how much he had last lap either. But this lap for sure, no traffic. Yeah, picked up 0.8 of a second. 7 or 0.8 of a second right there.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens over the next couple of laps. I'd expect Hamilton to come down soon. I can't see him staying out too much longer.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I thought he would come in earlier, but he didn't. And now he's had some clean track too, so this lap's been pretty clean for Hamilton. So if he finishes it, it's going to be a good judge of what they can run in clear track.
Austin Bulkey just had a crash. That's your 6th place GTP. He's going to gather it back up at the end of the bus stop, get that machine back underway. Hamilton coming around, and he stays on the racetrack.
Too. He didn't deal with no traffic this lap.
Let's jump back to Tyler Fode. Now leads by almost 4 seconds ahead of Sean Ryan in GT3. I do want to point out, though, Tyler Fode on the same lap as Nick Massey. Is Massey going to come by and work his way up to 9th in class? Actually, Massey just now getting by.
Yeah, Nick out there trying to beat
That was
the
a
boss,
battle
man.
for position.
Yeah, not much of a battle.
Well, we still have to call it a battle, Chris, just because, you know, technicalities and whatnot.
We'll see if Hamilton comes this lap. A bunch of traffic out in front. See, Hamilton probably should have came last lap. Now he's going to
catching
work
up to the
all kinds of traffic.
GT3 leader Tyler Fode. Gets by Fode. Next car, the 17 of Don Hunter. Goes to the right side of Hunter. I think he's got to pit this time, doesn't he? Like 15 minutes to go. Getting to the absolute nitty-gritty in this race. And he's starting to lose a bit more time as we go along.
I thought he had to pit a long time ago, and he hasn't pitted yet. So, well, not had to. I thought it was in his best interest to pit before he got to some traffic.
Schald's still out there as well. He's staying out again.
How many laps does he? There's no chance he can make it, is there?
We are... He's only 19 laps into this run. Chris, he can make it to the end, I believe.
Wow.
He pit on lap 30. for his first one.
Well, we really missed the ball on this one. Yeah, he should be able to make it. This car's going to make it to the end.
Yeah, I think he is, which I kind of wasn't expecting. And we should have caught that, but we did not.
Yeah, bad job on our part right there. I didn't think he had went that far. Yeah, so he's going to run to the end more than likely. Now that we've jumped on board this one, he'll probably pit this time just because, you know.
His blinking seems to be getting worse, though, as the event goes on. So that's something to keep an eye on because you never know. He could end up, knock on wood, falling out of the event.
I'm going to tell you what, I was in a race here with Ethan Stanley one time, maybe this past season. I don't remember if it was in Xfinity or the Cup car, and he was leading on the white flag lap, and it was over. And he lagged out on the last lap and lost the race.
I believe that was... You said you were on track with him?
I can't remember if I was on track or broadcasting the thing. But I know it was in the last 6 months. I bet Ethan could tell us. If he were here. You don't remember every win you get, but you remember those ones you lost that you should have won, or that, you know. So I'm sure he remembers that race that he had locked up. Nick Massey pulls out of the way here. Lets the leader go.
Somebody just got upset out there.
I believe he said, "Please, for the love of God, never do that again."
Was that
Not sure what
Kirchner?
his...
No, Kircher's out.
It was Sean Ryan that said it. I don't know what he...
Let's back
Oh,
it
somebody
up.
checked up. Okay. Going into turn... Man, I believe it's NASCAR turn 10. I don't know what it'd be on this course, but it coming out between the boot and NASCAR turn 10 there, somebody checked up to let him go, and he did not expect it.
I believe that was Don Hunter in the 17 machine. Yes, it was. Oh, that could have been really bad, Chris.
Oh, for sure.
That could have been really, really bad, actually, as they nearly came together. Just an update, we did start 25 cars today. Currently, I believe we're about 18 still running. Actually, maybe even less than that. 15 cars still in the event today, so we've lost 10 of them thus far, including a handful at the beginning of today's event. Taking a look at Tyler Fody, your GT3 leader, doing a nice job here today for Lake Norman Motorsports. The Porsche driver out of Florida, Tyler Fody.
I got a question for you.
I got maybe an answer
When did
for you.
Hamilton... Oh, we got a wreck. Nick Massey. Oh, Lord, have mercy.
Let's take a look on the Revival Photography replay machine as Nick Massey tows it. And he wrecked in the bus stop. Nick Massey out of today's race.
So when did Hamilton pit compared to when Nick came back on track?
I could have told you that earlier. Just an FYI, Hamilton Akabize just ran the quickest lap of today's race on his last lap.
Because Nick had about 9 laps left
Corey
of fuel.
Abbott pulling into the pits. That moves Caleb Pecumer up to 11th. I think Nick... Ooh, I don't... let's see if we can find that. It might be a little tough to get that stat.
Well, when did Hamilton pit? What lap was he last on pit road?
Just give me 1 second here. Nick Massey... When did Hamilton pit?
Because I can find when Nick came back on track there at like 25, lap 25. So that's about 30 laps on fuel. Between 30, 31, somewhere right in that neighborhood.
Nick came out 6 laps before Hamilton went to the pits.
Oh, so yeah, Hamilton's going to the end, no problem.
All right, so your winner here today is number 13, Hamilton Akabuize.
Because Nick was going to be right on the money there, and
Well, I think Nick slipped on the dollar bill.
I offered Nick to come back up here with us and enjoy the rest of this race, and he said no.
So Tyler Fode, your leader here in GT3. Sean Ryan and Corey Abbott have both gone pit side. That was your second and third place car. Now Caleb Pecumer is running third in class, trying to catch and pass Sean Ryan. Corey Abbott back on the racetrack in fourth. Sean Ryan just rejoined the field, so he's going to try to hold on to a podium finish here in GT3. Hamilton Akabuize leads by a substantial margin, 25 seconds over Archie Coveney. Then another about 40 seconds back to Ryan Schuld. Jared Bridwell, 2 seconds back of Ryan Schuld. Jeremy Millerin a lap down. Andrew Way, Austin Bulkey, and Justin Fortner all laps down at this point, with just 8 minutes of racing remaining here in tonight's 90 minutes at the Glen. This is race number 3 of the Elite Sports Car Series. 1 round to go, Chris Wright, November 30th. So 3 weeks from today at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, and I'm getting word that Tyler Fode is going to have to make another pit stop. Can you check for me on his pit stop compared to Sean Ryan?
Sean Ryan just came off pit road. Tyler Fode just went down pit road. So let's see the difference here. Well, Sean Ryan's only 34 seconds back at Tyler Fode here, Chris.
Fode had the lead. He doesn't need much fuel. Fode's leaving his pit box now. Sean Ryan's coming down. It's going to be close. Start-finish line for Sean. Fode's on the blend. Oh, man. Fode's out there pretty far.
Fode took fuel only, though. Sean took tires.
Are we sure?
Pretty positive that Sean took tires. Actually, he did not.
I
apologize.
They were
fuel
pretty
only
close
for
before
both. Fuel only for both. So Sean Ryan's going to want this traffic to come into play a little bit, these leaders as they go on by. He's closing the gap here on Tyler Fode, but we'll see the handling difference between the BMW and the Porsche here, with just 6 minutes remaining in today's event. Hamilton Akabuize, Archie Coveney, Ryan Schuld in GTP. Then it's Tyler Fode, Sean Ryan, and Caleb Pecumer in GT3. 1 second is the difference between Sean Ryan and Tyler Fode, riding on board here with our second place GT3 of Sean Ryan.
And that is the battle. This race, Hamilton's going to make it on fuel, no problem.
This is a
Not
battle
sure
we have to
why
watch
Archie
at this
short pitted.
point. Yeah, I
He's
think
going to regret that short pit.
I think Archie just miscalculated the number, and unfortunately, with the way this kind of racing goes, if your first stop is a little too early and you run yourself out of fuel, you're screwed. You're essentially screwed.
I'm going to tell you this. I'm not as good of a road racer as most of these guys, but if anybody needs help with the strategy, I will not let you get beat on a strategy. I will make sure that if you can one-stop it, you one-stop it, So I'm available. All you got to do is just beat Chad by a penny on what he pays me to do these broadcasts. That's all it's going to take. How bad do you want to chase these trophies?
$10,000 and 1 penny.
Man, I wish Chad paid me $10,000.
Chad, you paying us
That
10
would be
grand?
nice. I am not getting 10 grand. I'm getting about 10 grand, less than 10 grand.
You just didn't get one of those 1047s or whatever he was talking about earlier that said you made 10 grand.
As we're down to the final 5 minutes. Hamilton well out in front.
Hamilton does lead the way. 4 minutes to go. 4 minutes 45, so probably about 4 laps left. Akabuize, Coveney, Schuld, the top 3.
What? Did you just say 4 laps, 4 minutes? What are these lap times out here?
I'm not doing math right now. 3 minutes, 3 laps, Chris Wright.
That's about right. Yeah.
Hamilton, Akabuize, Archie Coveney, Ryan Schuld. Then it's Tyler Fode, Sean Ryan, and Caleb P. Kumer. Caleb's going to be called every name probably except his own here tonight, Chris.
I'll just call him Peach. It looks almost like Peach. It just needs an A.
Well,
Caleb Peach.
Fode was trying to tell me how to pronounce it earlier, and I'm like, P-cucumber? Like, P-cumer? P-chumer? Like, what are you trying to tell me? And I got in the server, and I had to tell him to tell me how to say it, and I still don't remember. Speaking of which, P-cumer just went down pit road not long ago.
Solid run tonight for him. I think he would have been happy if you would have told him at the start of the night he would be the second.
I wouldn't have told him because I probably would have had to say his name.
The only Lake Norman car that's beating him is the owner.
If you're second on the team to Tyler Fode, you're doing a good job.
In a road race that Ethan Stanley, Scott Crump, and Ryan Gable are in, and you finish second to Fode, yeah, I think you'd have taken that.
Nick Massey's here too. Don't forget Nick Massey.
Okay.
He'll get sad.
Nick Massey's not a great road racer.
He'll get sad though. I don't
Okay,
want to
we'll put
sad
Nick
Nick
Massey in
Massey.
there.
He's commentating with us on Monday night and in the Elite Revilos Photography Grand National Series, so we don't want him too upset.
But we did have that Lake Norman graveyard back there as well.
Yes, sir. The
We need a
Lake
graphic.
Norman
We
Cemetery.
need a graphic made this week of the Lake Norman Cemetery there coming out of the bus stop.
The only graphic I have on our streaming software right now, Chris, is this one, and I don't think it works here.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Someone might be an angry elf, not sure. Watching Sean Ryan, he's trying to close that gap on Tyler Fode. He's kind of within the distance here where if we get down to the last lap, he might take a lunge at it.
It's going to be a little bit closer, I think. Take any kind of lunge at it.
Full send, you're fine.
What he needs is to be able to get close enough to get a draft and draft up the S's and down that back chute.
I think the tires are negatively impacting them here. Just a minute 50 seconds left here, folks.
We're gonna get the white this time?
I don't think so. It depends when Hamilton crosses the line.
Does not look like we got the white.
We'll get the white next time by. So we are 2 to go.
2 laps left.
2
Archie's
laps
gonna wonder how this one got away.
Well,
He's
Archie,
like,
I know how it went away.
Car.
Sean Ryan just fell back 2.5 seconds from Tyler Fode since last time we spoke about him here. So Tyler Fode and Hamilton Akabuize look like they're on cruise control at this point to work their way to victories here tonight.
Where is Hamilton on the racetrack?
Hamilton
Can't find it.
is in the boot currently, Chris.
He must have been blinking when I was trying to scroll through and look for him.
Quite possibly. Hamilton is having a bit of a connection issue tonight. Now works his way back onto the second last corner of the day. He's going to come around, take the white flag this time. White flag should be displayed. Jared Bridwell just crashed from 4th in class. I believe the white flag was displayed right there.
Yeah, they are getting the white. Gonna climb the hill one last time. I don't think he's gonna catch anybody. I don't see any traffic out in front of him. The only car he was gonna
Fode
catch.
doing a nice job here today as well.
The only car he was going to catch wrecked there in that last corner, so.
Are you
I
sure
mean,
the white
he is
flag's
still
out, Chris?
Yes, I am.
Because it's not showing on my end, but I'll believe you this once. Hamilton Akabuize coming around. He will face the checkered flag this time. As long as he makes it back, of course. Anything can still happen.
And I believe he's catching the second place car.
That is indeed Sean Ryan just ahead of
Somebody's
Hamilton
real slow in front of
Akabuize.
him.
That is one of the
Is Scholl running out of gas?
Little Eagle cars.
He's
If
going again.
Scholl runs out of gas, that's not good for Hamilton because they pit the same lap here. As Hamilton Akabuize going to come around, he's going to face the checkered flag this time. Tyler Fode should face the checkered flag as well. He will. Look at that. Both of our race winners crossed the line at just about the same time. Your winner once again here in the Elite Sports Car Series is Hamilton Akabuize. Archie Coveney, Ryan Scholl round out the top three. Tyler Fode, Sean Ryan, and Caleb Pecumer round out the podium for GT3.
And here comes Archie.
Coveney comes around to wrap up second here today. Millerin finishes fourth, Bulky fifth, Way sixth, Fortuner seventh, Bridwell eighth. That'll do it for the top GTPs. Then Fode, Ryan Pecumer, Corey Abbott coming home fourth here today. Good run by him. Don Hunter fifth in GT3. We're going to work on getting our class winners in here momentarily. We're going to send it to a quick commercial break as we work to get our winners into the booth.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we are back here at Watkins Glen International. We do have our GTP winner standing by. It is Hamilton Akabuize with Chris Wright.
Well, Hamilton, I mean, you are showing these boys how it is done out here winning all these races. Tonight, we didn't think you had the best car, but you had the best strategy, that was for sure. So talk to us about your race tonight and those other two races as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty surprised Archie tried to two-stop it. I mean, the tires definitely sucked towards the end of the first stint. Like, I was losing like a second and a half a lap, but it definitely wasn't worth enough for me to consider it. I think he definitely had a bit more pace than me. I probably should practice a bit more, put in some more laps, but it wasn't that interesting of a race. I was kind of driving on my own a lot of the time just because he was pushing the first half and I was fuel saving. So, yeah, good race. Just not amazingly interesting from my side.
Well, it might not have been interesting for you, but there was a lot of craziness and a lot of shenanigans that went on that if you decide to go back and watch this broadcast or look back on your replay here, you'll see that wasn't calling for everybody else. But I'm going to hand you off here to Robert, see what Robert's got for you.
Yeah, Hamilton, congratulations. 3 for 3 thus far in the Elite Sports Car Series. looking ahead to Road Atlanta here in a couple weeks, what's your outlook heading into that track, and do you think you can make it a clean sweep of the series?
I definitely think I'll have good pace there. That's one of my favorite tracks ever, so I'd love to race there. GT3 traffic's gonna, of course, be really difficult, but I think I'll have good pace, maybe get a win, but also just don't want to get wrecked. Just take home the championship pretty easy. But I mean, I'm sure I'll be top two with Archie. I'm sure we'll be battling there again.
Absolutely. Seems like it's been you and Archie all series long. But before we let you go here tonight to celebrate another victory, any shout outs you want to give or sponsors you want to thank?
No real shout outs. Thanks for the broadcast. I usually watch it back like next day usually, so yeah, appreciate that. And yeah, that's it.
All right. Congratulations on the victory once again, and we'll see you in 3 weeks' time at Road Atlanta.
Thanks. See ya.
That was Hamilton Akabuize, your winner overall in GTP here today. Now standing by with Chris Rice, your winner of GT3, and the groundskeeper of the Lake Norman Cemetery. It's Tyler Fody.
Well, Tyler, congrats on the win. Good night for you, bad night for the team. We had one of your drivers in here talking about the cemetery on the backstretch that you guys had. We had another one in here who was the groundskeeper, as Robert just said there before we brought you up. So talk to us about your race and the rest of the team as well.
Yeah, man, I'm exhausted. Just 90 minutes straight of just battling. I got to give props to Sean Ryan and Ryan Kircher there. Pretty much from the drop of the green, just right on each other within a second, just having to hit every corner just right. Yeah, it was wild. And then having to dodge the prototypes, which is a whole nother thing. So I'm just happy to make it to the end. That was really exhausting. And yeah, hopefully we can do it again next week.
So what happened to the rest of the team? Did you just give them bad parts tonight? You know, a little something going on, make sure the team owner, Big Boss Man, ran the best?
I don't know what happened with the prototypes. It was like just a parking lot on the back stretch, just yard sale of parts everywhere. I don't know. But yeah, on the GT side of it, we did all right, I'd say. So I'll take it.
Well, all right, Tyler, congrats on the win tonight. I will hand you off to Robert here and see what he's got for you.
Yeah, Tyler, great run once again. I believe it's your second podium in 3 races thus far this series. Looking ahead to Road Atlanta in a couple of weeks, what's your outlook for that track? And do you think you can grab another victory there?
Yeah, I've never run that track, but I feel pretty good with how the car's been the last couple weeks, how the setups have been. It was pretty huge tonight having Kircher drop out there. Sean still did an awesome job there to stay P2. So coming down to the last race, I think I'm going to need to beat Sean by a couple spots here for the title. But I'll put some practice in and we'll see. It's going to depend on a lot of factors, but I think we're ready for it.
And now
I got to jump in here real quick. I got to jump in. I've been pretty hard on you about your fuel strategy this season, Fody, in those first couple races. So tonight you got it done. You got the win. Everybody made 2 stops. I know Nick said he was giving you a hard time about that fuel mileage strategy there as well. So did you take a couple extra seconds tonight to take a look at that?
Yeah, we had to make sure every stop to get every last bit of it there. We weren't going to have what happened at Daytona happen again.
Well, before Chris really interrupted there, I was going to ask you, what are your thoughts on the third place driver here tonight? Your boy Caleb P. Cucumber coming home third.
Yeah, dude, that's I had no idea what was going on behind me, but his third ever race driving these cars, brand new to iRacing. Huge shout out to him. He's been putting in the work behind the scenes. And I think we had 10, 11 cars here tonight. So to just survive, first of all, and then also bring home his first ever podium, super happy for him.
Absolutely. And, Lake Norman's got 2 hotshot rookies coming up in Caleb and Frank Fody. So you better watch out. Your seat might be in jeopardy. But before we let you go here tonight, Tyler, any shout outs you want to give or sponsors you want to thank?
Yeah, well, obviously the whole team. Some guys had some rough nights, but overall, I think we all got the speed each week, so that's something to look at. Again, shout out to Caleb. Shout out to Jonathan Cutlip with JD Designs for painting all of our cars. Super happy about that. Shout out to you guys. And I also got to shout out Mitch Haver watching back at home. He is Caleb's mentor, and I'm sure he's going to be happy about this. He is also Elite #1 bald-headed fan, so shout out to him.
Well, hello to Mitch, and shout out to you, Tyler, for another victory here in the Elite Racing League. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we'll see you in a couple weeks at Road Atlanta.
Yep, appreciate it.
Well, Chris, that was Tyler Fody, your winner here in GT3, and that'll just about do it for us here from Watkins Glen. But before we head off, any final thoughts from you, Chris, right?
Well, it was a great race. Lots of craziness in the middle. Same guy won. We almost need to put a bounty out now on Hamilton next week, I think. Lake Norman got their fuel strategy figured out. Well, one of them that raced, lots of issues there for them wrecking early. So we had that graveyard back there. Not a good night there for Little Eagle, Chad's team. Even though I know you're going to correct me here and say, well, it ain't Chad's team. Well, I'm calling it Chad's team.
It ain't Chad's team, it's Schultz's team.
Yeah, well, Chad's team has a lot of work to do this week. Rebuild their race cars as well. So it should be interesting here in 3 weeks' time. Get to go crown a couple champions. Get to see another great race. But before that, we're going to have trucks on Sunday, Xfinity back on Monday, Cup on Wednesday. All this is in the playoffs. Everybody racing for a championship. Every race matters. Every lap matters. Every spot matters. So it should be a great week next week. So tune into Elite next week and the week after that. And then 3 weeks' time, we'll be back out here at Road Atlanta to see another great race here in the IMSA cars.
Absolutely. Sunday night here on the Elite Racing Network, trucks at Worldwide Technology Raceway for race number 2 of the round of 14 in that series. Then Monday night back with Chris and I, and Nick Massey joining us there as well, will be the Grand National Series, the Revilas Photography Grand National Series, live from Auto Club for race 2 of the round of 9. And then Wednesday night, we head to Iowa in the JoinAPS.com Cup Series for race number 2 of the round of 9. 200 laps coming at you there. But that'll do it for us here at Watkins Glen. On behalf of Chris Wright, Chad Frankenville, Dave Huckleberry, and everyone here at the Elite Racing League, my name is Robert Hill Jr., and we'll see you next time.